Who would you rather be as an entrepreneur? I'm going to give you two scenarios, and I want you to decide in your mind, in your heart, more importantly, who would you rather be? Because I talk to these entrepreneurs all day long. And in fact, today I had 5 calls, and they kind of fall into one of 2 categories. And I believe one of them is tied to the ego. And so I'm just going to paint these scenarios, and I want you to decide what entrepreneur you want to be. Entrepreneur number 1, the person who got into business, was so excited to get into business, hit some struggles, hit some glass ceilings, and just decides, like, this is how it's always going to be. I'm going to be in this predicament. I'm always going to have cash flow issues. Business is always going to struggle. People just don't understand, and I'm going to just get by, and I'm going to have a business that nobody's going to want, nobody's going to want to buy, and I'm just going to be stuck with it. And maybe if I'm lucky, my next of kin takes it over and takes it off my hands, and I get a mediocre retirement for the rest of my life after I've worked my entire life to end up with very little. That's entrepreneur 1. Entrepreneur number 2 is what I describe as an exitpreneur. Someone that gets into business. They hit all the same struggles, all the same glass ceilings. They encounter the same cash flow issues, the same payroll issues, the same scale issues, but they raise their hand at some point and they get help. They get help from us. They get help from somebody else. They realize they don't know what they don't know, and they attack that gap, and that what they don't know becomes something they quickly know and something they quickly implement. Now, this entrepreneur breaks through that glass ceiling, has an abundant amount of cash flow, is starting to realize profits in their own pocket, and starts to think about the end in mind, and actually starts to prepare and build the exit plan. And they get the proper exitcation, which is the education in and around the exit process. They surround themselves with the right advisors, mentors, certified exit planners, wealth managers, insurance agents, and they build a company that is wildly equitable, highly transferable, and extremely, extremely valuable, which creates a lot of liquidity for them. They end up selling that company for tens of millions of dollars, some of them hundreds of millions of dollars, and a handful of them billions of dollars. And they receive accolade along with their fortune. They write books, they speak on stages, they're getting asked to be on podcasts, and they start to pay it forward because they realize that it's a debt they could never pay back. That the thing that they can do for the rest of their life is make a contribution to the entrepreneurial community and educate the next generation on what's possible and what it looks like when you don't stop. Those are literally the 2 entrepreneurs that I encounter. Unfortunately, most of the entrepreneurs I encounter fall into the same bucket. I start painting these pictures of what's possible. I start telling them about the private capital markets. I start telling them about the family offices that we have partnerships with. And they just go, you know what? Like, that's not for me. Nobody's going to want my business. And I'm like, well, with that attitude, you're right. And maybe they don't want your business right now. However, if you invested some time, some energy, some money, and actually used both your resources and your resourcefulness, and you got the proper execution in a year, 2 years, 3 years time, which goes by like this, you could set yourself up for a life-changing exit. And they go, you know what? I think I'm okay where I'm at. I'm like, no, you're not okay where you're at. But what you're okay with is the familiar and being like uncomfortably comfortable. And so you got to get outside of your comfort zone. And you would not believe, like on the post that I do and the free information we give away. I created a 14-minute training video on the other side of this. Like, there's a 14-minute video that you can watch, and below that it's an even longer video where I just speak from my heart and I give away this information. And you would not believe the entrepreneurs, my people, that are cut from the same cloth, that are going, this guy, what a clown, like, loser. He just wants our information. I'm like, I want to give you information, and more importantly, I want to give you liberation. I want to liberate you. from the things that are holding you back, which mostly are right here and right here. And so, which entrepreneur would you rather be? Would you rather be? And I know that I'm going to get a lot of hate on this one too. Like, oh, of course we want to be the other one. But do you really? Because if you are, and your actions aren't in alignment with execution and getting the proper execution, then you are in the first category. You just don't want to admit it. So, my friends, I am here. I am Nick Long. I am the founder of Next 90. Like, I created this ecosystem for you, the entrepreneur who desires to scale and sell. If you're doing over $3 million a year in revenue and you want to be acquired within the next 12 to 36 months, we are here to help you accelerate that process and amplify the overall result. But we can only help those that want to help themselves. So please, click the link, watch the video, book a call. You'll be on with me. Like, I'm a real person, and I've had real failures, and I've had a tremendous amount of success, and I'm going to teach you about both. And I'm going to teach you about my 2 years as an investment banker and why deals didn't get done, and the ones that did, and how special they were, and the liquidity it created for the entrepreneurs that listened and actually broke through and got what they wanted on the other side. So my friends, click the link, watch the video, and don't be entrepreneur number one. Like, you've already been it for way too long. It's time to change the game. 1 out of every 16 businesses will actually get acquired. That's a travesty. We have to do better as an entrepreneurial community. Let's get the proper execution. Let's get the private equity acceleration, and let's ride off into that exit promised land. And then, my friends, let's all go pay it forward.